Grandpa has been in prison, but he was able to pass the political review and become a civil servant smoothly. Chen Guangyu didn't expect that he was just trying to pass the civil service exam and make it successful. But when it was time for the political review, someone actually reported that their grandfather had been imprisoned. In an instant, Chen Guangyu was sweating profusely. I finally understand why my grandfather never allowed him to take the civil service exam. But when the investigation results come out, everyone will be dumbfounded. It's true that Grandpa was imprisoned before the founding of the country, but that was the same prison he was imprisoned before, and the charges were still against communism. Regarding this, Chen Guangyu's grandfather said, having served in one's own prison is the biggest stain in political life, but having served in the enemy's prison is the political capital you can most confidently hold. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Eating instant noodles for the 80th birthday. You are listening at novel.Audio. The bleak cold wind blew in a cheap rental room. A silver-haired old man who looked almost 70 or 80 years old looked at the instant noodles in front of him with a worried expression on his face. Although the taste of instant noodles may sound good, Chen Minglong looked at this steaming bowl of instant noodles, emitting a strong aroma, and felt a bit uneasy in his heart. Master Long's pickled Chinese cabbage beef noodles are very cheap. Smelling fragrant, unfortunately, most people are already tired of it now, and some young people even dislike it. Chen Minglong once heard young people say things like instant noodles and dogs don't even eat them. With a sigh, Chen Minglong felt a sense of unease in his heart. Today is his 80th birthday. Whose parents' birthday noodles are made with instant noodles. And it's also a cheaper bagged instant noodle. I can't live these days anymore. Grandpa, let's eat it. The noodles won't taste good when they are soaked and rotten later. Next to Chen Minglong, a young man in a down jacket stuffed the layer of fluff back through the crack in his clothes and said to his grandfather beside him. Grandpa, the environment has been bad lately and I can't find my class. I don't have much money, so let's make do with it and eat together. Chen Guangyu stuffed back the fallen fuzz and handed a pair of chopsticks to his grandfather, saying with a bitter smile. In recent years, the economic situation has been bad, and no one can make money. He has been fired by several companies in a row. Even from the Feixian group, he learned that the boss of a previous company was now running takeout, earning money and paying salaries to employees, and living a tighter life than him. Looking at Chen Minglong, who was struggling with instant noodles, seeing his grandson say this, he no longer had the thought of complaining a few words, but his eyes showed even more sadness. Why don't we just go home and farm? In this city, without money, we can't even eat a meal. Despite his advanced age, he has a strong physique and can still farm. After thinking about it, Chen Minglong secretly decided to return to his hometown. Go home. Grandpa, you should eat here first. I remember a year or two ago, I bought a few bottles of beer for a birthday banquet. How could I have missed the drink? Chen Guangyu watched his grandfather eating golden instant noodles, his mouth a bit greedy. With a tap of his brain, he suddenly remembered the beer he had bought for an unknown amount of time. After rummaging through the boxes and cabinets, he finally found 3 dusty bottles of bloody beer in the southwest corner of the room. Beer used to be emerald green, but due to dust, it has now turned dark green, as if it hasn't been touched in decades. How long have you been drinking this wine? Why is it all gray? Can you still drink it? Chen Minglong was eating noodles when he saw his grandson take out a bottle of beer covered in ash from a corner. His old eyes widened and he reminded him. If he gets poisoned, he doesn't have the money to take his grandson to the hospital now. However, Chen Guangyu grinned and waved his hand, speaking incoherently. It's okay, it was just a year ago, but there's a lot of dust at home, so it looks a bit old. After speaking, he didn't check the production date either. He just rubbed the bottle mouth position with his clothes to remove some dust. Then he bit his teeth. With a creak, the bottle cap was skillfully opened. Gulu gulu. The wine immediately flowed into Chen Guangyu's mouth like a waterfall. Chen Minglong looked suspiciously at the wine bottle in his grandson's hand, wanting to widen his eyes and see the words written on the beer bottle clearly. Unfortunately, due to presbyopia, the characters are too small for him to read clearly. Drink slowly, kid, be careful not to choke. I won't drink, no one will compete with you. He was a bit worried when he saw his grandson devouring a whale. Unfortunately, Chen Guangyu is feeling depressed at this moment and using wine to drown his sorrows. Where should he listen to his grandfather? Gulu gulu, after drinking one bottle, it's another bottle. Chen Minglong saw that he couldn't stop it, so he gave up. Young people, good health, drinking a little wine should not be a problem, right? Chen Minglong also murmured in his heart. At the birthday party at the age of 80, one person drank and the other ate longevity noodles made from instant noodles. No one made any noise and the house was clean. Until Chen Minglong finished the noodles and prepared to drink some soup. Grandpa, I told you earlier that I want to take the civil service exam and become an official. Be a high-ranking official. Listening to his grandson's words, Chen Minglong put down his bowl and began to scrutinize him. At this moment, his grandson's face was flushed with peach blossom, obviously drunk. Seeing his grandson's appearance, Chen Minglong thought of the past and let out a sigh, unable to say anything. With my education from a top 985 university, even if I don't take the civil service exam, I can be easily selected and transferred. I will become an official then. Grand officials. But you're not allowed. As he spoke, his grandson's cheeks became increasingly red, indicating an emotional shift. If I had a family meal, how could I lose my job? So I can't find a class now. Are the two of us drinking from here? Grandpa, why don't you allow me to take the civil service exam? Why? Chen Guangyu may have been drunk, without any worries, his voice was loud and his roar echoed throughout the room. As long as you allow me, with my learning ability, what's the point of taking the civil service exam? Grandpa, let me take the civil service exam. Even if I beg you. Woo 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 woo. At the end, Chen Guangyu began to whimper. Looking at his own grandson like this and listening to the other person's sobs, Chen Minglong put down his chopsticks and his old face remained silent. After a long time, he let out another sigh. It's okay, it's okay. Let this kid go, he can't stop it. Well, tomorrow I will go back to my hometown. Chen Minglong whispered in his heart, then closed his eyes as if he had let go of some heavy burden. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Exam for public officials. Take this iron rice bowl. You are listening at novelful.audio. Chen Guangyu got very drunk last night and I don't know when he got into bed. When he woke up, the sunlight had already shone through the window lattice and onto him. Blindly opening his eyes and rubbing his slightly sore eyes, Chen Guangyu picked up his phone and prepared to see what time it was. Sleeping trough, it's 11:30. When I woke up, it was almost noon and I didn't know if my grandfather had breakfast. His grandfather is 80 years old, and although his legs are relatively flexible, he usually cooks. He slept until noon now, and his grandfather was afraid he didn't even have breakfast. After all, his grandfather may not find the mantou he bought. Grandpa, where are you? I'll steam mantou for you. Getting up and getting out of bed, Chen Guangyu was wearing slippers and shouting loudly in the rental room. Unfortunately, after wandering around, the room was quiet and there was no one else except him. Chen Guangyu couldn't find anyone in the room and felt a bit worried. An old man, who is quite old and can't even climb stairs quickly, why are he running outside? Just as he was slightly anxious, a corner of his eye noticed a square piece of paper on the table. The paper was pressed by a teacup before, and he didn't pay attention. Sitting on the sofa now, the paper landed on the coffee table directly in front of him, and he immediately saw it. More importantly, there seemed to be some words written on the paper. After a slight recollection of his memory, Chen Guangyu confirmed that he did not have this piece of paper before. After all, he is sitting in the position where Grandpa ate longevity noodles last night. If he had any paper, he would have cleaned it up. Since it wasn't placed before. Is that what Grandpa left behind? With a quick turn of his mind, Chen Guangyu stood up and removed the paper from the coffee table. Sure enough. On the paper, there were rows of large characters that could be easily read by even the eyes of presbyopia. Good grandson, Grandpa is not used to living in the city. As you get older and no one even wants a job, I won't be dragging you down in the city anymore. After much thought, it was still comfortable to farm in the village, so I went back to my hometown in the countryside. And you kid, even though you can't drink alcohol, you're still drinking in front of me. Look at how many sips you took last night and how drunk you looked. If I hadn't watched you grow up, I would have doubted if you were my old man's seed. Back then, I was a group of people who got drunk alone. When you wake up drunk, I'll probably be on the train too. I'll call you when I get home, don't worry. By the way, haven't you always wanted to take the civil service exam? Then you can go, and I won't stop you. The font is very large, and there are also graffiti on it. A piece of A4 paper only contains a few sentences. However, looking at these words, Chen Guangyu's eyes were filled with tears. If we can make money, if we can make money. Chen Guangyu pursed his lips tightly, his pupils slightly red. Where else are there people in my hometown now? Most of them followed their children into the city. And is farming so good? Why do you really think farmers are running crazy towards the city? Grasping this A4 paper tightly, Chen Guangyu felt a deep sense of powerlessness. He wants to bring his grandfather back to live with him, but he doesn't have the ability. In this city, he can't even take care of himself well. Take the civil service exam. As long as I get into the civil service exam, I can have a meal from the government and everything will be better then. Chen Guangyu tightly pursed his lips and clenched his fists tightly, even biting his nails into his flesh. Every time I think of an 80-year-old man going back to farming. Every time I think of those city elderly people outside the window who have retirement benefits and travel around. I must take the civil service exam. Be sure to bring this iron rice bowl. After venting his emotions for a while, Chen Guangyu calmed down and steamed mantou to fill his stomach. Previously, due to his grandfather's prevention, he never took the public examination. But he never gave up reviewing for the civil service exam. Calculating the time, there are only 3 days left until registration. Using his phone to browse through electronic versions of pirated exam materials and teaching videos, Chen Guangyu began his final sprint. However, as he flipped through the pages, he saw a reminder popped up on the official account of his mobile phone. This year's public examination in Rongcheng can only be registered offline. Sitting on the sofa, Chen Guangyu was a bit stunned when he saw this message. In previous years, he remembered that registration was done online. How do he request to register on site this time? He was filled with doubts in his heart. After thinking about it, he also checked the registration methods for public exams in other places. Half an hour later. Only Rongcheng. After confirming repeatedly, Chen Guangyu sighed deeply and felt a little nervous. People are unlucky, everything is unlucky. Other places are not offline, only he is offline in Rongcheng. I am still several tens of kilometers away from the Rongcheng Civil Affairs Bureau, which is another expense for my car fare. He is currently unemployed at home, unable to move in and out, and is almost bottoming out. The registration fee of 100 yuan has already made him feel heartbroken enough, and this time he has to include the car fee. It's not easy for a poor ghost to take the imperial examination for the True Nima exam. They ask for money everywhere, mad. With a complaint, Chen Guangyu began flipping through the map of immorality and searching for bus routes from his home to the Civil Affairs Bureau. While searching, praying. It's best to have a bus to get there, otherwise if he takes a taxi, he'll have to feel heartbroken. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Does my ex-girlfriend also come to take the civil service exam? You are listening at novelful.audio. This time, the public examination in Rongcheng can only be registered offline. In fact, it is because CCTV has launched a live program called Entering the Public Examination. Chen Guanyu's location in Rongcheng happened to be selected, so the local court set the public examination offline to cooperate with CCTV's programs. Convenient for everyone to directly visit the scene and demonstrate the fairness of the public examination to the people of the whole country. However, for all of this, Chen Guangyu, a commoner, knows nothing. He is currently searching for a bus route from his home to the Civil Affairs Bureau on the Despice map in order to save money on transportation costs. Destination: Rongcheng Civil Affairs Bureau. Click to confirm. The route quickly popped out. Chen Minglong looked at the search results and breathed a sigh of relief. Although it was a bit troublesome to transfer trains, the total price was only 6 yuan, not very expensive. 3 days later, Chen Guangyu got off the bus with the crowd and his face was a bit tired. Today, there were too many people registering for the Rongcheng public examination, which made him feel a bit tired. Even if he wakes up before dawn, he almost gets squeezed out. Dragging his tired heart, Chen Guangyu walked quickly towards the direction of the Civil Affairs Bureau with the crowd. However, as he was walking, he noticed a beautiful and uneven figure not far away. Xianying was wearing a small skirt, revealing her smooth and straight long legs. A pair of long boots were draped over her legs, giving her a rather fleshy feel. Although there were many clothes on his upper body, he was filled with plump flesh and the waves were surging. Although there is not much skin exposed all over the body, it is uneven and gives a feeling of astringency. Looking at this woman who is only half a head shorter than him and is close to 1.8 meters tall. Chen Minglong frowned and whispered in his heart. How could I meet her here? The woman in front of him is his ex-girlfriend, but unfortunately he despises him for not earning money. With his excellent physical condition, he crawled off to hook up with the second generation. He was the one who was dumped back then. Looking at this familiar woman, Chen Minglong prepared to take a detour and leave, not wanting to meet her. Unfortunately, he didn't want to see the other person, but when they saw him, their eyes lit up and they walked over with a proud expression. As I walked, I took out the latest fruit phone from my Nishi's bag. Guangyu, this is my new phone. Last time you bought me a pollen phone, when we broke up, I left too hastily and forgot to return it to you. When I come to find you, you have already moved out and won't answer your phone calls. Please leave an address and I will return the phone you bought to you in a few days. The woman shook the fruit phone in her hand and said with a smile. I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional, but she always faces the logo of the Ainishi bag at Chen Guangyu. Chen Guangyu's eyes twitched as he looked at the woman's branded clothes all over her body. I secretly thought to myself, if I had to pay you back, I would have already paid you back. I want to refuse, but when I think of my recent situation, I can't open my mouth. Last year's pollen phones were sold as second-hand and could still be exchanged for a considerable amount of money. For him, who has only been in and out during this period, it's quite a bit. With a grit of his teeth, Chen Guangyu still took out his phone and clicked on the Feishin QR code. Qi Lian, add me as a friend and I will send it to you later. Seeing this scene, Qi Lian's smile grew even stronger, and her slender fingers clicked on the fruit phone to add friends. Then he looked up and down at him, seemingly more concerned. Guangyu, are you also here to register? Nowadays, the competition for public exams is fierce, with at least hundreds of people competing for each position. Almost all those who were able to pass the exam have enrolled in training classes and learned a lot of exam skills. I have also enrolled in training classes. Have you enrolled? Chen Guanyu's body stiffened, but he quickly recovered, chatting and laughing. I have good self-learning ability and don't need to attend any training classes. Joking, a training class costs thousands of yuan, where did he get the money? And he believes in his intelligence. However, Lian across from him looked at him with a smile on her face, her mouth full of kind words, but her gaze was full of sarcasm. It's good to have strong self-learning ability, but it's better to have a teacher teach me. It's only 4 or 5,000 yuan, and it's not expensive. It's not as good as my pocket money for a few days. Guangyu, you should have a long-term perspective. Don't put so much emphasis on money. After speaking, Lianjiao left with a smile. Looking at the figure of the woman who deliberately wanted to show off, Guangyu held back a sigh of frustration and felt anxious. This woman dumped him when he was unemployed and couldn't even afford rent. What's his situation? This makes the bitch wonder. MMP, why don't you tell him not to care so much about money? If he could enroll in the training class, he would have already done so. This blue pond, I remember you now. A person without any educational background still wants to register for the public examination. However, when it came to this, he was slightly taken aback and immediately thought of this slut being promoted to the second generation. Even if you can sign up, with your worrying learning ability, would you still want to pass me, the exam king? MMP. Look at me, after a while, I won't throw the job application on your face. Watching the woman get into a Rolls Royce worth at least a few million yuan, Chen Guangyu cursed fiercely in his heart. Not far away, a woman holding a microphone and accompanied by several cameras noticed Chen Guangyu's side. This should be the first batch of candidates to register. Let's go and interview this one. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Live interview. You are listening at novel.Audio. I am a reporter from CCTV, Li Bingbing. May I ask if you are also here to take the public examination? Can I interview you? Li Bingbing held the microphone and looked at Chen Guangyu with a sweet smile, his eyes full of anticipation. Just seeing off his ex-girlfriend, Chen Guangyu was caught off guard by another good-looking girl. But looking at the other person's enthusiastic appearance, it was not easy to refuse, so I adjusted my mentality and responded. Sure. Journalist Li Bingbing, who received a response, nodded with a smile and asked the first question of today. This year, the number of people taking the National Public Entrance Examination has broken a record, reaching 4.03 million, which is highly competitive. May I ask how confident you are in this public exam? Chen Guangyu is actually quite confident about his exam confidence. After all, at least he is also a student of a key university with very strong learning ability. I'm sure I can win this exam. Li Bingbing was quite surprised to see this. It seems that this friend is full of confidence. What do you think of the fairness of the public examination for the next question? As CCTVs entering the public examination, one of its purposes is to convey the fairness of the public examination to everyone. Therefore, as a journalist, Li Bingbing quickly got to the point. The public examination is a national-level examination, it must be fair. Is that a question? Nowadays, there are cameras everywhere, but it's not possible to cheat, and the examiners are all brought in from other places, so they won't cheat on candidates so casually. Everyone is striving for their own learning abilities. Despite just experiencing the incident with the woman Lian, Chen Guangyu still has confidence in the public examination. Registration can rely on connections, but can exams still rely on connections? What era is it now? People are watching everywhere. It seems that this friend knows a lot about public exams. Journalist Li Bingbing received the expected response with a sweet smile. 3 days have passed, and Chen Minglong has also returned to his hometown and started his pastoral life. Although he has worked in agriculture and has rich experience in farming, as he gets older, Chen Minglong still feels a bit overwhelmed. My body can't keep up. Chen Minglong, who had been tired for most of the day, carried a hoe home and prepared to rest well. However, he suddenly realized that today is the day for registering for the public examination. After hesitating for a while, he still walked into the cellar of the old house. The cellar is a bit chilly, but still relatively dry. However, in addition to storing some food, there are also many old photos hanging on the walls of this cellar. Looking at these photos, Chen Minglong's eyes were filled with memories. But thinking of my grandson who registered for the public examination today. Chen Minglong sighed. I don't know if it's right or wrong to have my grandson take this exam. But the matter has come to this point and cannot be turned back. These are all fate. Rongchen. After the registration was completed, another period of time passed and the preliminary examination ended. Thanks to long-term review and his amazing intelligence, Chen Guangyu still easily entered the interview. However, to his surprise, when he entered the examination room, he unexpectedly met Lian again. With this woman's character, how could she calm down and study well? Lian studied at junior college affiliated with his university, in the same major as him. If he hadn't been helping this woman all along, she might have dropped out of school because she failed too many exams. But as the saying goes, if you don't see me in 3 days, I'll be amazed. It's been so long, maybe this woman has changed gender. Although somewhat surprised, Chen Guangyu still didn't pay much attention and went into his own examination area on his own. The interview for the Rongchen public entrance examination was broadcasted nationwide to coincide with CCTV's recording of the program. One of the purposes is to demonstrate the fairness of public examinations and let everyone understand the country's exams. So when Chen Minglong came in, except for the interviewers sitting across from him, the most eye-catching thing is a bunch of cameras. Looking at these cameras, Chen Minglong was somewhat surprised, but soon calmed down. When he was in college, he was a host who had done many activities and had a good psychological quality. However, he didn't have stage fright. He looked at the examiners and greeted them with a smile. Hello examiners. Hello candidate, first of all, congratulations on passing the written test for the interview. The main purpose of this interview is to pass. A male examiner sitting in the center nodded and began speaking. Are the candidates ready? Before starting to answer the questions, the examiner conducts routine inquiries. Get ready. Chen Minglong sat upright, looked ahead, and responded with a smile. Please listen to the first question. Your unit staff went to the grassroots level for investigation, but during the law enforcement process, their attitude was not good and they had conflicts with the public. They were also photographed and posted online, causing a negative impact. There are also news media who want to interview, and the leader asked you to respond. How do you handle it? The examiner's gaze was electric, staring straight at Chen Minglong. Chen Minglong pondered for a while and began to ponder on this question. If it is in reality, it is definitely to cooperate with the leader's work, follow the leader's requirements, and it is best to prevent photography during the law enforcement process. If it cannot be stopped, suppress the transmission channels to prevent the spread of information. Otherwise, once it causes a negative impact and accountability begins, no one can escape punishment. But this is an exam, definitely not an answer like this. After hesitating for a while, Chen Minglong organized his language and responded. The candidates start answering the questions. I will address this issue from the following 4 aspects. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the media for their attention and support to our unit's work, and to invite them to participate in this investigation to ensure the transparency of the results and the fairness of the process. Secondly, it will also be disclosed to the outside world, and we are conducting an investigation. Listening to Chen Minglong's precise and logical response, many examiners nodded frequently, indicating that it was good. However, besides the examiners present who also thought it was good, many viewers across the country who directly targeted the audience through this live broadcast also noticed Chen Guangyu's interview. For a moment, barrage of bullets flew across major platforms. Sleeping trough, this guy is amazing. It's only been a few minutes now, and I've been thinking a lot. I'm afraid I hit the mark. Upstairs, I'm laughing to death. You can't help but mean that others are not good. Is it so difficult to acknowledge others' excellence? I think this guy should be considered quite impressive in this exam area. What's more powerful, just a few days ago. Look at what other crooked melons and cracked dates are, I can't even explain clearly. There's a woman whose hands are still trembling. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Kneeling for support. You are listening at novelful.audio. Today is the first day of publishing the book. If readers feel that this book can still be read, please also click on a collection, give a flower and a review. After all, everyone also knows. In Feilu, the first day of publishing is really important. Decide whether a book can be written down. The premise on which the author relies for survival. Basically, it's this first day. Whether it's active data or favorites. For the author, it is highly valued. If you can't see anything, if you persist in writing a book, the risk is very high. Sometimes, when it comes to listing in one breath, subscriptions are dismal. That means all this time is in vain. If no one reads what is written, it also loses its value. So, as long as everyone is willing to give flowers and evaluation tickets, and then collect them as long as they are not too few. So, the author needs at least 10 more chapters today. Here, the author also thanks everyone. At the same time, it will also ensure to present the best level of writing to everyone. I hope to receive everyone's support. I have been struggling on the street for too long. Keep pouncing like this. I'm afraid I'll only end up eating dirt. It's really not possible. I'm also preparing to pack up and enter the factory. This book was not written with just a slap in the head. A series of arrangements for advancing the plot that have already been made before writing. Try to be non-toxic and pitless. Enable everyone to smoothly look down. At the same time, I will explain the subsequent updates to everyone. Starting from tomorrow. 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter at noon, and 1 chapter in the afternoon every day. 2 chapters at night, guaranteed 5 chapters every day. A chapter is about 2,000 words. That is to say, the update volume is about 10,000 words per day. This update should not be considered too few. Additionally, if everyone is willing to support the author with flowers and review tickets, we will also have 10 chapters per day. It depends on whether the brothers like this book. Of course, I naturally hope that everyone can make me die suddenly on the keyboard. Where to die? Die peacefully. This is just a joke, should we still be moderate or moderate? Add update rules. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 3 comments plus 1 update. Reward and 1 watch for each person. The reminder ticket will be updated based on the number of reminder words. Note: rewards do not matter the amount, as long as the reward is given. The important thing is to see your liking for the author's writing. Eating, as long as you can eat enough, you don't expect to achieve much. Implement the concept of exchanging sincerity for sincerity. Carry out our original intention to the end. Kneeling down, I beg for the support of all handsome, elegant, and talented readers. Say important things 3 times. Today is the first day of publishing the book. If readers feel that this book can still be read, please also click on a collection, give a flower and a review. After all, everyone also knows. In Feilu, the first day of publishing is really important. Decide whether a book can be written down. The premise on which the author relies for survival. Basically, it's this first day. Whether it's active data or favorites. For the author, it is highly valued. If you can't see anything, if you persist in writing a book, the risk is very high. Sometimes, when it comes to listing in one breath, subscriptions are dismal. That means all this time is in vain. If no one reads what is written, it also loses its value. So, as long as everyone is willing to give flowers and evaluation tickets, and then collect them as long as they are not too few. So, the author needs at least 10 more chapters today. Here, the author also thanks everyone. At the same time, it will also ensure to present the best level of writing to everyone. I hope to receive everyone's support. I have been struggling on the street for too long. Keep pouncing like this. I'm afraid I'll only end up eating dirt. It's really not possible. I'm also preparing to pack up and enter the factory. This book was not written with just a slap in the head. A series of arrangements for advancing the plot that have already been made before writing. Try to be non-toxic and pitless. Enable everyone to smoothly look down. At the same time, I will explain the subsequent updates to everyone. Starting from tomorrow. 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter at noon, and 1 chapter in the afternoon every day. 2 chapters at night, guaranteed 5 chapters a day. A chapter is about 2,000 words. That is to say, the update volume is about 10,000 words per day. This update should not be considered too few. Additionally, if everyone is willing to support the author with flowers and review tickets, we will also have 10 chapters per day. It depends on whether the brothers like this book. Of course, I naturally hope that everyone can make me die suddenly on the keyboard. Where to die? Die peacefully. Cough. This is just a joke. Should we still be moderate or moderate? Add update rules. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 3 comments plus 1 update. Reward and 1 watch for each person. The reminder ticket will be updated based on the number of reminder words. Note: rewards do not matter the amount, as long as the reward is given. The important thing is to see your liking for the author's writing. Eating, as long as you can eat enough, you don't expect to achieve much. Implement the concept of exchanging sincerity for sincerity. Carry out our original intention to the end. Kneeling down, I beg for the support of all handsome, elegant, and talented readers. Say important things 3 times. Today is the first day of publishing the book. If readers feel that this book can still be read, please also click on a collection, give a flower and a review. After all, everyone also knows. In Feilu, the first day of publishing is really important. Decide whether a book can be written down. The premise on which the author relies for survival. Basically, it's this first day. Whether it's active data or favorites. For the author, it is highly valued. If you can't see anything, if you persist in writing a book, the risk is very high. Sometimes, when it comes to listing in one breath, subscriptions are dismal. That means all this time is in vain. If no one reads what is written, it also loses its value. So, as long as everyone is willing to give flowers and evaluation tickets, and then collect them as long as they are not too few. So, the author needs at least 10 more chapters today. Here, the author also thanks everyone. At the same time, it will also ensure to present the best level of writing to everyone. I hope to receive everyone's support. I have been struggling on the street for too long. Keep pouncing like this. I'm afraid I'll only end up eating dirt. It's really not possible. I'm also preparing to pack up and enter the factory. This book was not written with just a slap in the head. A series of arrangements for advancing the plot that have already been made before writing. Try to be non-toxic and pitless. Enable everyone to smoothly look down. At the same time, I will explain the subsequent updates to everyone. Starting from tomorrow. 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter in the noon, and 1 chapter in the afternoon every day. 2 chapters at night, guaranteed 5 chapters a day. A chapter is about 2,000 words. That is to say, the update volume is about 10,000 words per day. This update should not be considered too few. Additionally, if everyone is willing to support the author with flowers and review tickets, we will also have 10 chapters per day. It depends on whether the brothers like this book. Of course, I naturally hope that everyone can make me die suddenly on the keyboard. Where to die? Die peacefully. This is just a joke, should we still be moderate or moderate? Add update rules. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 3 comments plus 1 update. Reward and 1 watch for each person. The reminder ticket will be updated based on the number of reminder words. Note: rewards do not matter the amount, as long as the reward is given. The important thing is to see your liking for the author's writing. Eating, as long as you can eat enough, you don't expect to achieve much. Implement the concept of exchanging sincerity for sincerity. Carry out our original intention to the end. Kneeling down, I beg for the support of all handsome, elegant, and talented readers. Today is the first day of publishing the book. If readers feel that this book can still be read, please also click on a collection, give a flower and a review. After all, everyone also knows. In Feilu, the first day of publishing is really important. Decide whether a book can be written down. The premise on which the author relies for survival. Basically, it's this first day. Whether it's active data or favorites. For the author, it is highly valued. If you can't see anything, if you persist in writing a book, the risk is very high. Sometimes, when it comes to listing in one breath, subscriptions are dismal. That means all this time is in vain. If no one reads what is written, it also loses its value. So, as long as everyone is willing to give flowers and evaluation tickets, and then collect them as long as they are not too few. So, the author needs at least 10 more chapters today. Here, the author also thanks everyone. At the same time, it will also ensure to present the best level of writing to everyone. I hope to receive everyone's support. I have been struggling on the street for too long. Keep pouncing like this. I'm afraid I'll only end up eating dirt. It's really not possible. I'm also preparing to pack up and enter the factory. This book was not written with just a slap in the head. A series of arrangements for advancing the plot that have already been made before writing. Try to be non-toxic and pitless. Enable everyone to smoothly look down. At the same time, I will explain the subsequent updates to everyone. Starting from tomorrow. 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter at noon, and 1 chapter in the afternoon every day. 2 chapters at night, guaranteed 5 chapters every day. A chapter is about 2,000 words. That is to say, the update volume is about 10,000 words per day. This update should not be considered too few. Additionally, if everyone is willing to support the author with flowers and review tickets, we will also have 10 chapters per day. It depends on whether the brothers like this book. Of course, I naturally hope that everyone can make me die suddenly on the keyboard. Where to die? Die peacefully. This is just a joke, should we still be moderate or moderate? Add update rules. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 3 comments plus 1 update. Reward and 1 watch for each person. The reminder ticket will be updated based on the number of reminder words. Note: rewards do not matter the amount, as long as the reward is given. The important thing is to see your liking for the author's writing. Eating: as long as you can eat enough, you don't expect to achieve much. Implement the concept of exchanging sincerity for sincerity. Carry out our original intention to the end. Kneeling down, I beg for the support of all handsome, elegant, and talented readers. Say important things 3 times. Today is the first day of publishing the book. If readers feel that this book can still be read, please also click on a collection, give a flower and a review. After all, everyone also knows. In Feilu, the first day of publishing is really important. Decide whether a book can be written down. The premise on which the author relies for survival. Basically, it's this first day. Whether it's active data or favorites. For the author, it is highly valued. If you can't see anything, if you persist in writing a book, the risk is very high. Sometimes, when it comes to listing in one breath, subscriptions are dismal. That means all this time is in vain. If no one reads what is written, it also loses its value. So, as long as everyone is willing to give flowers and evaluation tickets, and then collect them as long as they are not too few. So, the author needs at least 10 more chapters today. Here, the author also thanks everyone. At the same time, it will also ensure to present the best level of writing to everyone. I hope to receive everyone's support. I have been struggling on the street for too long. Keep pouncing like this. I'm afraid I'll only end up eating dirt. It's really not possible. I'm also preparing to pack up and enter the factory. This book was not written with just a slap in the head. A series of arrangements for advancing the plot that have already been made before writing. Try to be non-toxic and pitless. Enable everyone to smoothly look down. At the same time, I will explain the subsequent updates to everyone. Starting from tomorrow. 1 chapter in the morning, 1 chapter at noon, and 1 chapter in the afternoon every day. 2 chapters at night, guaranteed 5 chapters a day. A chapter is about 2,000 words. That is to say, the update volume is about 10,000 words per day. This update should not be considered too few. Additionally, if everyone is willing to support the author with flowers and review tickets, we will also have 10 chapters per day. It depends on whether the brothers like this book. Of course, I naturally hope that everyone can make me die suddenly on the keyboard. Where to die? Die peacefully. Cough. This is just a joke. Should we still be moderate or moderate? Add update rules. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation tickets plus 1 update. 3 comments plus 1 update. Reward and 1 watch for each person. The reminder ticket will be updated based on the number of reminder words. Note: rewards do not matter the amount, as long as the reward is given. The important thing is to see your liking for the author's writing. Eating: as long as you can eat enough, you don't expect to achieve much. Implement the concept of exchanging sincerity for sincerity. Carry out our original intention to the end. Kneeling down, I beg for the support of all handsome, elegant, and talented readers. Chapter 5. Qi Lian's Poor Interview. You are listening at novel.Audio. In addition to Chen Guangyu's examination room, on the other side, Chen Guangyu's ex-girlfriend Qi Lian is also conducting an interview. However, unlike Chen Guangyu's outstanding performance, Qi Lian's performance can be described as unsatisfactory. In this small room, a group of examiners sat directly in front, and next to them were a bunch of cameras. Qi Lian is standing opposite the examiner at this moment, different from his usual astringent clothes. He is now dressed in formal attire, with good physical conditions, and looks exceptionally capable. Unfortunately, this woman's current performance has shattered this temperament, making her originally capable clothes appear quite comical. Sweat kept rising from her forehead, and although she remained calm, her arms on the table were trembling. A very nervous appearance. Candidates, please listen to the questions. The examiners sitting opposite Lian couldn't help but shake their heads as they looked at her. At first glance, it seems that there was no serious preparation, and it is even possible that they came to try the water. However, they were lucky enough to pass the written test. The examiners glanced at each other, coughed lightly, and finally the examiner sitting in the center asked a question. If your unit has a bad attitude during the grassroots investigation process, conflicts arise with the masses, and photos taken by the masses are posted online and trending, causing a negative impact. Major media outlets come to our unit to inquire, and you are sent by your unit's leadership to deal with these media outlets. How should you respond? In order to ensure fairness and impartiality in exams, interview questions for the same unit and examination room are usually the same. Therefore, the problems encountered by Lian and Chen Guangyu are the same, but their reactions when dealing with them are significantly different. When asked by the examiner, Lian, who was already very nervous, felt even more trembling in her hands. Holding a pen on paper, sketching and trying to calm down. Unfortunately, I haven't been well prepared, my foundation is not solid, coupled with nervousness, my mind is blank at this moment, and I don't know how to respond. Trembling for a while, as time approached, Lian couldn't help but tremble and speak. I think the first thing to do is to first explain to the media, then publish a notice to the public, and then. Due to being too nervous, Lian even forgot the answering skills taught in the training class. After hesitating for a long time, I didn't finish answering this question even after the deadline. The examiners couldn't help but shake their heads when they saw this. As expected. The exam is over, please leave the examination room. Upon hearing the examiner's prompt, Lian's face turned a bit pale, but she still breathed a sigh of relief. Relying on Wang Liang's relationship, how she behaves is actually not important. Anyway, they can all get in. Just squeeze out the last place when the time comes. Thinking of Wang Liang's promise before, Lian didn't panic anymore. Candidates, please do not linger in the examination room. The examiner saw Lian in a daze and couldn't help but remind her. Oh. Okay. Upon hearing this, Lian fled from the examination room as if fleeing. This interview was not only seen by the examiners, but also by the cameras in the room, and the people of the whole country saw it. However, compared to the expressionless faces of the examiners, the comments of netizens are much more wild. What kind of spicy chicken candidate is this? He's trembling even when answering a question. What else is he taking this psychological test for? Go home and farm. Some people are not polite and attack directly. What kind of bullshit are all these answers? It's a headache to hear. How did you pass the written test at this level? Someone was shocked by Lian's poor performance after listening to her interview completely, and could not help but complain about it. If civil servants are all at this level, I'm a bit scared, dog head. Someone agrees. Is there a professional who can talk about whether this level can be passed even if the written test score is very high? Apart from netizens who are crazy about it, there are also many netizens who view it as neutral. However, the post just came out, and before the professional one arrived, the spray started first. Is it her? If she passes the exam, I'll stand upside down and eat Xiang. Why do you want to reward yourself? What evil has Xiang done to be eaten by you? The post was just posted and quickly went crooked. After a while, a netizen with the ID Chu Jianlao returned a more serious post. This candidate is too nervous, her whole body is trembling. The key is that the answer she replied did not hit the nail on the head. Even if this candidate scores first in the written test, it will be difficult to be selected based on her interview score. Is there no hope in the first place? Someone asked. The interview score is also 100 points, and if you fail directly, even if you come first, there is no hope, said Chu Crazy. I don't understand the value of the top 0 upstairs, do I? Someone deliberately went crazy. Upstairs, don't lead the war. I've seen this Chu person's post before. He's a big shot in the system, and what he says is much more reliable than what you say. Someone was unhappy with the boxer above and cursed. Sleeping trough, you're really a big shot, worship big shots. It seems that this woman really can't get into the civil service exam. Upon hearing the reminder, someone quickly crawled into Chu Crazy's page and read the post he had posted. Now with the certification of big shots within the system, neither 1 nor 2 will speak up. But soon, some netizens from Shidayo began to go crazy again. Is there a missing pendant on the boss's leg? Boss, I can cook. Boss, I can warm up the bed for free. Meitu, I'll do it for you. Big shot. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Hot search on public exam live streaming. You are listening at novel.Audio. After leaving the examination room, Lian directly boarded the luxury car that had been waiting for a long time. Looking at Wang Liang sitting in front, Lian couldn't help but think of the exam just now. Brother Liang, I didn't perform well this time. Is there still hope? Wang Liang promised to help her, but his performance this time was really poor. If Wang Liang is not satisfied with her performance and unwilling to help her, then it will be over. It's a small idea, I've already said hello. My uncle will handle it, it's just a small exam. Wang Liang waved his hand and focused on driving, not caring at all, even feeling very happy in his heart. He has watched Lian's interview video and appears to be mentally disabled. He is very satisfied. The worse Lian performs, the happier he becomes. She truly deserves to be the woman he carefully selected. Lian is a woman with average education, but she is intelligent, knows how to serve others, and she looks pretty good. The key is that she is obedient. It's a pity to be a mere tool person, but it would be perfect to be a lover. I've been waiting for you here for an hour today. You need to perform well tonight and help me relax. Coincidentally, I bought Wang Xiamei's cost server from Yuanshan. You can try it out tonight. Driving, Wang Liang couldn't help but turn his head and look back, smirking. Wang Gu, after receiving the other party's promise, Lian's suspended heart finally came to rest, and she breathed a big sigh of relief, smiling coquettishly. Wang Liang is actually very clear about this live broadcast of the public examination. Pulling connections and forcing Lian, who appears to be so foolish, will inevitably cause a public opinion tsunami in the future. But all of this is what he hopes to see. Although all of this carries great risks, the returns are also enormous. Wang Liang was driving his car and his heart was filled with joy. Everything is moving in the direction he planned. Lian has been thinking about how to serve Wang Liang in a sect recently, wondering which cosware is the coolest and the most revealing. This woman has no intention of using short video apps, and even her phone has been confiscated by Wang Liang recently. She is known for being afraid of affecting her exams. So much so that Lian is completely unaware of the external live broadcast of the public examination at this moment. I have no idea what cost it will cost for Wang Liang to help her smooth the relationship. After she gets to know the situation, she's afraid she won't be able to get off Wang Liang's pirate ship. As an exam for selecting civil servants, this live broadcast immediately triggered a huge wave of traffic. In the past, big guys used to rely on hearsay, and very few people actually experienced public exams. The emergence of live broadcasting for the public entrance examination has become the most popular among major apps. Shocked, the public exam can be live streamed. Lian village in Rongcheng, home of Wang Huifan. Wang Huifan has just finished feeding the pigs and is lying on the sofa preparing to rest for a while. Due to the popularity of smartphones and the rise of various short video apps, the entertainment style of adults in the village has gradually shifted from watching TV to watching short videos. At this moment, Wang Huifan, as usual, turned on her TikTok. The interface had just opened, and a short video came straight into her sight. In the picture is a small room, where a group of middle-aged people in formal attire sit, looking like officials. Across from this group of people, there was a young woman stuttering in words that Wang Huifan couldn't understand. I'm not sure what was said in the video, but Wang Huifan understood a string of text in the video. Poor psychological quality, no matter how good the written test results are, it's useless. The Peng training class teaches you how to improve your confidence in the public interview process correctly. Don't 998, don't 668, just 399. Don't miss out if you want to take the public exam next year. Upon seeing these few lines of font, Wang Huifan suddenly realized that they were advertising for public exams. Her daughter will graduate next year, and she plans to have her daughter take the exam as well, so she pays more attention to this information. This girl looks like this, I'm afraid she won't be able to afford the exam. Although she didn't quite understand, looking at the other person's nervous expression, Wang Huifan felt that the probability of the other person passing the exam was not high. Hey, isn't this year's public exam just beginning? Why is there such a video? Last year's. Normally, the official release of the interview video for the public entrance examination would take a long time after the exam ended. Even in some places, they simply don't put it away. Wang Huifan, who was puzzled, continued to browse the video, only to notice the live broadcast of the public examination, which had made it to the top of the trending search. I clicked in and looked through the comments below. After a while of figuring out what was inside, Wang Huifan's eyes lit up. Lao Li, come here, I'll show you something. After discovering that it was really a live broadcast of the public examination, Wang Huifan was extremely happy and quickly entered the room, preparing to wake her husband up. Previously, she asked her daughter to take an exam, but the biggest opposition was her husband. The reasons given also made it impossible for her to argue. Their family is just an ordinary peasant family, even if their child goes to college, it still doesn't matter. In the past, who didn't rely on connections to enter a public institution? Their authentic rural family wants to become an official, isn't that a toad wanting to eat swan meat? Wang Huifan, who has lived for 40 or 50 years, is deeply impressed by the relationship mentioned by her husband. Her life experience told her that everything her husband said was true. In this society, without connections, it is difficult to move forward. Besides being a public unit, without spending money, and trusting people, or giving gifts, can one enter with just a small fraction? Dreaming. That's an official. Is it something that people like them can expect? But the overwhelming promotion of the civil service examination training class gave her a glimmer of hope. Anyway, give it a try. If it doesn't work, just let it go. She thinks so. But now watching the interview live broadcast on her phone, her previous thoughts have been somewhat shaken. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Great Impact. You are listening at novelful.audio. Live streaming the exam room directly. How else can the relationship be used? How to operate in a dark box. It is clear at a glance who performs well and who performs poorly in the exam. For example, the girl Wang Huifan just met, who stuttered during the interview, definitely won't pass. If it passes, wouldn't the officials be slapping themselves in the face? How many people use TikTok? Wang Huifan doesn't know. But the neighbors around are brushing one by one, so I think there should be no shortage. So many people are watching, if the officials really operate in secret, wouldn't that be a big death? Wang Huifan, who had figured this out, was extremely excited and picked up her phone to wake up her husband who was taking a nap. "Lao Li, look, the government is broadcasting the civil service exam live." Wang Huifan had a bright smile on her face, happier than when she was slaughtering pigs and eating big meat during the Chinese New Year. "Isn't it just a live broadcast? What's there to watch?" Li Long, who had just woken up, couldn't help but gasp. Just as he spoke, he realized something was wrong. "What? You said the live broadcast of the public examination. Can this thing be live streamed? Is this what we can see? Did you make a mistake?" Upon reflection, Li Long faced three rhetorical questions. Wang Huifan was scolded and didn't know how to say it or explain it, so she just scolded the phone screen. "Look at it yourself, this avatar is still on CCTV." Taking the phone, Li Long looked up and down, then clicked on the blogger interface to confirm that it was a blogger verified by the official platform of Indo. After a while, I hesitated and felt a bit uncertain. Is it true or not? The sun is coming out from the west. Wang Huifan frowned and hesitated. So many people, it should be true. Li Long looked at the live broadcast on his phone, then at the official certification, furrowed his brows, and paced back and forth in the room. After a while, I gritted my teeth and made a major decision. The above says that in the future, the public entrance examination in Rongcheng will be broadcast live. If that's the case, his mother, don't you want our daughter to take the exam? We still have tens of thousands of yuan in savings at home, you can take out 5,000 yuan. If the public exam is still live broadcast next year, you can give this 5,000 yuan to our daughter and ask her to buy some exam materials, preferably attend a training class. Our daughter is intelligent. If we only rely on grades, I believe she can still pass the exam. If the public examination is transparent and fair, Li Long doesn't think this amount of money is worth it. Apart from Wang Huifan and Li Long's family, due to this hot search ranking, other regions in China have also caused a huge wave of frenzy. Sun Liming is a junior high school teacher, almost 45 years old. When he took the college entrance examination, he scored well and was able to attend a good university. As a result, someone impersonated him. My family is from the countryside again, it's okay. I reported it to the Education Bureau, and the leader asked him to go back and wait. Their investigation will take time. As a result, I waited for an unknown amount of time. As school starts soon, there is still no response from there. Out of anger, Sun Liming and his father, along with a group of fellow villagers in nearby villages with good relationships, marched hundreds of people to petition. There was no university left, but in the end, he was given a college degree as compensation and arranged to study teacher education. Their arms couldn't twist their thighs, and with compensation, their family eventually came to an end. Sun Liming, who has experienced such things, detests and dislikes the unfairness and opacity of exams the most. If he had not been replaced by others in the beginning, he would have had a different life experience. Sun Liming, who is taking a break, is currently playing TikTok. I also noticed the top trending live broadcast of the public exam. Looking at these words, Sun Liming rubbed his eyes and took a few more glances. Blinking and blinking, I sat in the office chair for a long time. After a while, I trembled and reached out to watch this live broadcast. No deception, that's true, it's true. If future exams could all be live streamed, wouldn't what happened to me happen again? Sun Liming has read books for many years, and his cultural knowledge is much higher than that of Wang Huifan's family. He can better understand the significance of live broadcasting major exams. Although he has experienced injustice, he still loves this country. He also hopes that this land will become better and better. Sun Liming, whose emotions fluctuated greatly, took a deep breath, closed his eyes, pondered for a moment, and began to write a post on Weibo. In this era of information explosion, the government's use of live broadcasting to publicly interview civil servants is undoubtedly a milestone innovation. As an ordinary high school teacher, I am deeply moved and sincerely admire this initiative. This not only reflects the government's high attention to the selection of civil servants, but also fully respects the public's right to information, participation, and supervision. Live public examination interviews expose every aspect of civil servant selection to the public eye, effectively preventing the occurrence of covert operations and unfair practices. This transparency allows every candidate to have the opportunity to showcase their talents and abilities in a fair arena, and also enables every audience member to become a witness to the selection process. This principle of fairness, impartiality, and openness is exactly what we are looking forward to. Such measures not only show us the determination and strength of the government in the selection of civil servants, but also make us feel the solid steps of social fairness and justice. Respectfully. My great motherland. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Fairness. Justice. Transparent. You are listening at novelful.Audio. Once the post was posted, it quickly attracted a large audience. The likes are like being on a rocket, taking off in place. Finally, it went straight to the hot search. Amazing, my country. The number of comments in the comments section also exploded and began to grow, one floor after another, and soon it became impossible to see the entire content. Blogger talent. My mouth twitches. I have no education, I can only say, awesome. Which country has this kind of transparency? Fair and just, we dare to say, first, no one dares to say, second. I also believe that our country will continue to improve in the future. I suggest that Amelia also learn. I don't understand upstairs, right? In Amaligian, it's not a bad thing to have a relationship. When it comes to college, you also need a recommendation letter. Do you think that children from wealthy families lack this recommendation letter, manual dog head? Rebels, come out quickly and take 2 steps. Let's see what kind of guardian you are. Don't play against the wind, funny. The comments section went from floor to floor, and Sun Liming looked a bit dumbfounded. I didn't expect my casual post to attract so much attention. However, he has not been to work at the moment, and is resting. He is also happy to read his own comment area to see the roast of sand sculpture netizens. Flipping through it, he actually saw an interesting comment. I watched the replay of the live broadcast. Which people do you think can pass? Sun Liming thought for a moment about the live broadcast he had just watched and the replay he had watched before, scratched his brain, and finally could only type a few words. I'm not sure who can pass, but I think this group of nervous candidates represented by Lian should not be able to pass. As the owner of the post, as soon as he replied, he quickly attracted a large number of netizens to watch below this comment. Laugh, funny, I don't know who can pass, but I can tell who is just funny. Indeed, I am 100% certain that the candidate named Lian cannot pass. I'm laughing to death. I don't have the ability to confirm who can pass, but everyone knows who can't pass. Why don't we use the elimination method and eliminate them one by one? Unfortunately, that girl looks quite nice, but she's so nervous. Let's prepare for the next year. I'm not sure about the others, but that candidate named Chen Guangyu should be able to pass. Upstairs-wise, the candidate named Chen Guangyu is indeed impressive, answering fluently, and his methods of speaking are very executable. Indeed, that boy is very capable, and at first glance, he is someone who has been prepared for a long time. Really? I'm going to Hong Kong. Outside the exam room in Rongcheng, a girl dressed in formal attire with long hair tied into balls came out. Although the girl has a slightly immature face and looks just in her early 20s, she still has a certain temperament when paired with formal attire. People are also extremely good looking. Lingyi, how did you do on the exam? Just as Zhou Lingyi came out, a middle-aged woman dressed exceptionally looked at her daughter with a smile. "Do you want our family to use some connections?" After watching her daughter get into the car and close the door, the middle-aged woman smiled and said, "Mom, this exam is currently being broadcasted nationwide. If you use guanxi, it won't have a good impact if it gets caught." Zhou Lingyi pursed her vermilion lips and quickly advised. "Isn't it because I'm afraid there might be other families using it? I'll squeeze you out when the time comes, didn't you waste a year?" Zhou Lingyi's mother gave her a fair glance and explained. "Nowadays, when it comes to live streaming nationwide, who has the courage to use connections?" Zhou Lingyi remained speechless and continued. "And are you so lacking in confidence in your daughter's intelligence? I was much better than the others in this exam, except for the ones who were the strongest." Speaking of which, Zhou Lingyi smiled and took out her phone, pointing out an interface. "Mom, you see, I am currently the third-ranked city in Rongcheng among a large number of netizens. How could I not have been selected?" The interface she is currently clicking on is a temporary ranking created by netizens to compare the final score ranking. And below the people in the front row, there are comments from experts from various institutions and units, not all of which are votes from Shidayo netizens. Zhou Lingyi's mother looked at this comment, especially the comments below her daughter, and nodded frequently, laughing like flowers. This candidate performed excellently in the public examination interview, with high professional competence, able to quickly grasp the essence of the question, and provide clear, accurate, and powerful answers. Moreover, with fluent language expression and appropriate body language, it fully demonstrates its profound professional background and excellent adaptability, making it a highly promising candidate for outstanding civil servants. After reading the comments, Zhou Lingyi's mother smiled and said, "My Lingyi is really impressive. Not only is she beautiful, but she also has a high IQ. If that's the case, then I don't have to rely on your father's favor. Don't even mention it. Now the live broadcast of the Rongcheng public entrance examination is much more troublesome than before. It's even easier to use connections and accidentally get caught up in one pot." After listening to her mother's words, Zhou Lingyi's small face looked proud. "Mom, it's not good to rely on one's strength because relationships are less important. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Announcement of Results. You are listening at novelful.audio. Because multiple videos, posts, and messages about the live broadcast of the public examination have been trending. The Rongcheng government also took advantage of the heat to quickly grade the exam papers of candidates and organize their interview scores. After staying up all night, the admission quota was finally announced to the public on the third day after the public entrance examination. First place. Chen Guangyu second place. Li Lixing third place. Qi Lian. The Market Supervision Administration of Rongcheng only admitted 3 personnel this time. Chen Guangyu stood out on the list as expected. At the same time as the announcement of admission quotas, many people who followed the live broadcast of the public examination also received news. Lian village in Rongcheng, Wang Huifeng and Li Long were greatly surprised by the live broadcast of the public examination, coupled with concerns about their daughter's future. The couple has been paying close attention to this public exam these days. "Son of a bitch, you've watched the public exam videos these past few days, haven't you? Which child do you think can pass the exam?" As it was almost time to announce the list, Li Long looked at his wife with a smile and asked. Although he was smiling, there was a layer of sweat in his hands. To be honest, he still couldn't believe that the official would let the public examination be broadcast live. In his heart, this is not a regular exam. This is the way to reach heaven. Ascend to the sky. The way to become an official master. This kind of opportunity, the official would actually delegate the supervisory power to people like them. I can't believe it. Even now, Li Long is a bit incredulous. He wants his wife to give him some confidence. You ask me, who will I ask? I'm not one of those officials. Wang Huifan gave her husband a blank glance and couldn't express herself well. The list of candidates created by netizens did not make it on the hot search list. If you want to see it, you can only go to specific websites to check it yourself. Wang Huifan, a woman who works in the village, can use TikTok. It's difficult for her to search information on the internet. However, in order to save her husband's face, Wang Huifan hesitated for a while and spoke up. I don't know which one will pass, but the nervous girl I showed you that day will definitely not pass. Aren't you talking nonsense? Li Long laughed angrily. The girl looked nervous, and if she could pass through, it would be like the heavens are blind. Forget it, I won't argue with you anymore. It depends on the time. The government should make an announcement. Let's go and take a look. Li Long waved his hand and interrupted Wang Huifan's speech. To be honest, he is a bit nervous. Audio Douyin search bar enter public exam scores click to confirm due to internet speed, the phone paused for a moment before a new interface popped up. First place. Chen Mingyu second place. Li Lisheng third place. Qi Lian, although none of the people above, Li Long, is known, and it is unknown what unit he has been admitted to. He searched for these purely to add to the fun and take a look at the comments section, everyone's public opinion on this incident. To facilitate his daughter's planning for next year. But looking at this admission list, the small room instantly fell silent. After a while, the old man Li Long looked at his wife awkwardly with a trembling expression. Son of a bitch, the girl you're talking about seems to have the surname Qi, right? Her name seems to be some kind of lotus. There seems to be a photo behind, take a look, what if it's a duplicate name? Wang Huifan also saw this name and felt embarrassed. Because it was the first video she watched, she even paid special attention to this girl. The name seems to be this name. Li Long furrowed his brow and began to slide the photo on the screen. After clicking twice in a row, a photo of a tall woman popped up. Looking at this photo, Li Long handed his phone to his wife and took out a cigarette. Walking to the door, he sat up alone. Ignite and exhale. For a moment, the smoke was sparse. No one spoke. It wasn't until a long time later that Li Long lifted his lips, which had been waxen yellow from the sun, and his gaze looked slightly dim towards the distance, sighing. If the public exam in Rongqing next year doesn't live stream, you'd better let your daughter find another job. Having hope but losing hope. This feels a bit unpleasant. Although he knew there were many twists and turns inside, he never expected the government to do such a thing in front of so many people. I can't figure it out. At the same time, Sun Liming, who has been following the live broadcast of the public exam for several days, noticed that today is the date for announcing his grades. He also enthusiastically clicked on the official website interface, wanting to see how much difference there was between the expected list and the actual list of netizens. Result: first place. Chen Mingyu, well, this little guy is really good, no problem, Sun Liming smiled. Second place. Li Lisheng, as expected by netizens. Sun Liming laughed even happier. Third place. Qi Lian. Sun Liming, who was drinking water, coughed violently and almost couldn't catch his breath when he saw this name. After a while, Sun Liming finally regained his breath after swallowing the water in his mouth. But now he has a completely different demeanor from before. He is now somewhat angry and somewhat sad. They have already been publicly broadcasted. It's clearly like this. Why? Why? He had given such high expectations and instructions, but the government gave him such an explanation. Are you losing your face now? Do you still have to be shameless? This is a live broadcast. Live in front of the people of the whole country. Sun Liming was unusually angry and wanted to curse loudly. He was so surprised before, feeling like everything had changed. But now everything has not changed. Even more so. What a surprise it was originally, how angry he is now. Are you doing this, okay? Due to anger, Sun Liming's breathing became thicker. Coincidentally, I was on a hot search before. This time, I won't scold you corrupt officials to death. Speaking. Sun Liming began frantically typing on his phone, outputting his angry emotions. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.